And I'll never forget coming home one night, getting off a plane, and my skin was horribly red and inflamed, and I couldn't really figure out why.
Hey Tribe, Stephanie Dixon here for Green is the New Black TV, your guide to conscious living in Asia. Today we're speaking with Jene, the founder of Luxe Botanics, and we're going to be diving into why she went from big pharma to natural beauty and what the social impact she's making with her business and some of the entrepreneurial struggles that she's going through. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's fantastic to be here. Thank you, Steph, and lovely to be with you.
I know, Jene's a really good friend of mine, so this is going to be very fun. So let's start from the beginning. You know, you used to work in big pharma doing clinical trials. What was the jump from that then going to being like, I'm going to start my own natural beauty line?
Well, I think a bit of background is that I'm South African. I grew up in Africa. I was always someone that was in the garden, chasing ants, playing with chameleons. So I always had a very strong tie to nature, and throughout my life and all of my travels, moving to Australia and moving to Singapore, I always knew I wanted to do something that would bring me back to that. So, after 10 years in pharmaceuticals, where I'd had this opportunity to really increase my scientific knowledge and understand clinical trials and figuring out how things really work for the skin particularly, I decided it was time to step away and reconnect with that need to be in nature. Mm-hmm. So that's really where Luxe Botanics started. And I'll never forget coming home one night, getting off a plane, and my skin was horribly red and inflamed, and I couldn't really figure out why. And what I realized was that not one of the products I had in my cupboard had anything good in it. They all had something bad, something that inflamed the skin, something that made it irritated. That really led me to going towards natural and organic. I tried it myself for 6 months to a year before I started the business anyway, to make sure that it really did work.
But you've always maintained this idea of nature to nurture. And now, of course, we're talking about having a mindful skincare routine. So maybe unpack that a little bit more for us.
Sure. So Luxe Botanics was started on the idea that everything is innovated by nature, but it's designed to nurture. So we have 3 arms of Luxe Botanics that really tie into that and bring together what we call the mindful skincare ritual. So the first is that Luxe Botanics is obviously formulated with botanic ingredients. It's totally natural. They are all proven ingredients, scientifically proven. They have a long history of traditional use as well, which was a big part of starting the brand and my African heritage. And then the second part was that when we source our ingredients, and I think you know this because we had a lot of conversations around it, was how to make sure that we sourced in the most ethical way, but also giving back to those communities that harvest for us through a fair trade living, and also working with cooperatives on the ground that improve those communities. And then the third part of that was making sure that we didn't strip the environment when we were harvesting our ingredients. So a big part of this brand is the sustainability behind it, being very transparent and honest about where we get our ingredients from and how we package them. So altogether, those 3 elements really bring together a mindful skincare ritual that when you are enriching your skin, you're also enriching the communities that are harvesting and the environment.
And so what are some little green steps that our audience can take, when we're looking at our beauty products and we're trying to understand, looking at the back of bottles or, figuring out what we should and shouldn't get, what can we look out for?
Sure, so I think the first thing to do is always get to know yourself before you even look at your products. There's a lot of marketing out there, there's a lot of friends telling you what to do. I think it's most important to start paying attention to your skin and then start reading the back of your bottles. The most important thing then is read through them. Try not to be too scared by the chemical names you see. I mean, if you think of the chemicals that are in bananas, if you read that, it would scare you. So take a breath, read, and one of the most interesting resources I'd say if you do start to get scared is called the Environmental Working Group, EWG. You can Google it and you can just look up the ingredient and it will tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 how good or bad it is.
Okay, and so when we're looking at our skin, what should we be looking for then when you're saying look at you?
I think paying attention, because your skin changes every day based on what you need, based on what you've eaten, based on how you feel mentally, based on your environment. So looking at underneath your eyes, that's a huge giveaway. Dark circles, redness and inflammation, that's probably the first place you're going to see it. And then sort of in your smile lines and under your chin as well is where you're going to start to see lack of hydration. So have a look for that, and look for unevenness. So that can be unevenness in color, it can be unevenness in texture. And really, I mean, if you think about it, we were all born with the most amazing skin. So it's things that we've come across in our environments that have made it change. So if you start to pay attention to what you've eaten, what you've done that day, how you felt that day, you'll start to realize what you can change to make your skin better.
Awesome, that's really helpful. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing and for all those wonderful wedges of wisdom. It was great.
Awesome, thank you.
And thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today so that you can live more consciously tomorrow. And if you want more inspiration, you can head over to greenisthenewblack.asia.